Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam Vakil. It's turned out to be a great expiry for those who are longs in the markets, considering the Nifty has closed about not only 11,500, something a lot of traders were watching out for, but 11,550, something traders had actually spoken about as early as this morning and perhaps last evening. We've seen the Nifty close about 11,570, a gain of 125 odd points. A lot of gains coming in on some of your financial names like Indiabulls Housing Finance, State Bank of India, Axis Bank, Yes Bank. But also along with that, we have seen gains in Z Entertainment, Adani Ports and HCL Technologies. On the losing end, it is largely stocks related to commodities. So Tata Steel, Hindalco and ONGC declining in trade. Dr. Reddy is showing some amount of weakness, but today the momentum is with the gainers, as is the case seen in the NSE 500. Two gainers for one loser. Indiabulls Ventures along with the rest of the Indiabulls pack moving up as much as 11%. Jammu and Kashmir Bank, Bajaj Holdings, Diwan Housing Finance, Central Bank of India, Indiabulls, of course, Dish TV, as well as Bank of Baroda. So whole host of financials leading the gains here and taking charge. On the losing end, well, some weakness in Reliance Communications, ILFS Transportation and Escorts, but today is a day that we don't really need to talk as much about the losers as much as we can talk about gainers. Well, on that note, let me bring in our markets editor Neeraj Shah for his thoughts on the trading day. Neeraj, certainly turned out to be a very good expiry for those who are long in the market.
Of trade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, the volumes, Agam, just shot up. Unless I'm very wrong, and I don't think I am, at about 3, the cash market volumes on the NSE were 33,000 crores. Yeah. They moved up to 48,000 crores.
Right,
That's just an exceptional jump over the last half an hour, 45 minutes of trade. So the volume's quite exceptional. A lot of it would have found their way into banks because we saw a lot of banks just shooting up. Axis Bank, the intraday, J&K Bank, Central Bank, across the board. Absolutely. You had these banks shooting up in the last half an hour of trade. So banks really revved up. IT was giving support. So you wouldn't, you didn't put a foot wrong. The only question is, after this mammoth rally, which is counterintuitive because the world isn't doing quite that. It's just us which was doing this. Can it continue? Remains to be seen. But I would reckon that the flows which were looking at about 1,000 odd crores or thereabouts, I wouldn't want to stick my neck out, but I would be really surprised if the number is not good today on the FI side. It's smacked off FI activity today with the kind of moves that have happened. Let's wait and watch. The numbers should be interesting. Yes, I reckon those numbers will be very large, considering, as you've spoken, of some very large turnovers in the cash markets. But yes, Neeraj, thank you for that perspective. Thanks, there. We'll be watching out for some of the institutional activity in today's day of trade. Of course, that'll come through perhaps in the next couple of hours. But well, on that note, let me address a bunch of stocks we have had in notice. Right at the top, let me address what's going on with United Breweries. From what we understand is that Heineken has increased its stake in United Breweries to over 46% from around 43%. Now, this is of course an increase of 2.8% to be precise, and these are shares bought from your tribunal, that is the tribunal in Bangalore, the enforcement directorate where these shares were kept. Of course, we did have the Karnataka Bank earlier this month direct that Yes Bank transfer these shares which were attached on account of Vijay Mallya being probed for money laundering, and these shares were transferred then, and of course these shares were eventually sold to Heineken, and which is why we're seeing an uptick in its shareholding. So we'll be watching out for that, and also we'll be keeping an eye on the shareholding, the change in shareholding of United Breweries. Do remember that it still hasn't moved above the 50% mark. Should it move that, it will of course own a majority stake in the company, and that may be a very key development in terms of the leadership as well as the management going forward. But on that note, let me address 2 or 3 other stocks which are also buzzing in trade, and for that we have Sharad Dubey joining us as usual to tell us about the same. Sharad, what do you have for us?
Yes, I think the first stock is Sobros. The stock was up by almost 5% today. That's the highest level seen in almost 10 days. This is based on the news that the company is going to acquire AC system assets of Zamil Air Conditions Private Limited. Through this acquisition, the company will create a capacity of around 5 5 lakh units per year, and also will supply home air conditioning units to various OEMs. Agam, even when you see the delivery volumes of this company, that was almost up 4 times of its 20-day average for Sobros. I think the second stock is your DHFL, which is already buzzing in the news, and this stock was up almost 8%, its highest level seen in almost 2 months. This is based on the news that the Indian Express had come out with the news that Piramal or Bearing PE were in talks to acquire majority stake in DHFL. However, Piramal Enterprises have concluded in their release to the exchanges that they have denied their involvement as of now to purchase stake in DHFL. And DHFL itself, before the markets close, they also stated that no further discussions or decision has actually been taken by the board. So it's actually a wait and watch policy, Agam. So these two stocks were actually buzzing in the mid-cap space today, Agam.
Right. Thanks, Sharath, for bringing us those details. And of course, from there, we move on to another stock which has actually hit historical highs. We have Titan Company. While it does trade at lifetime highs, it's also hit the 1 lakh crore mark in terms of its market capitalization. And this one perhaps is a very important move for all the shareholders in Titan. Well, one marquee investor, case in point, in case of Titan Company, is Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who along with his wife owns a little over 7% in Titan Company, which means that this brings his stake in Titan Company itself, and just in Titan, to valued at around $1 billion. So there you have it. We've seen substantial gains across for a lot of these companies, but Titan Company is one other which stands out in trade today, hitting the 1 lakh crore mark, and we'll continue to give you updates on the same. But on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.